Talk about some anon shit, because this is going to be interesting. This is happening. So over the course of the past couple days, QAnon has been exposed, if you will. It's been brought out into the public after people were spotted at a Trump rally, I believe in Ohio, wearing QAnon t-shirts. You have an actor who was on a show called Vanderpump Rules, whatever the hell that is, and also a guy who was in Thor as a pet store owner coming out. His name is Isaac Cappy. He's coming out and he's saying like Tom Hanks is a pedophile. All these other people are pedophiles. QAnon is right. And then you've got people on 8chan because now 8chan is back in the news again. And, you know, I mean, like at first it was a haven for Gamergate. It was the place for Gamergate refugees from 4chan to go to. And then now it's found itself, being the home of QAnon. And I've looked through this. I have, and it is ridiculous. It's pretty stupid. If anyone is trolling, if QAnon is trolling 8chan, man, they must be having a grand old time right now because it is just hysterical what these people believe. But it has a little bit of a problem. There's a little bit of an issue there because what immediately follows the Q, right? What immediately follows the Q, and that would be anon. Now, there's one thing I've learned over all my years of spending time on 4chan and spending time, hanging out on the internet, talking with them internet kitties. We've learned that Anonymous doesn't like to have their name fucked with, period. And so now apparently they have vowed to take down and expose QAnon. Now, to be fair, before we jump into this here, I have to, for the sake of being a fence-sitting centrist, I have to sit there and kind of say here that we don't quite know exactly who in the Anon space is saying this. We know that Anon has very much, said things in the past, right? And it's not one collective, right? Remember, we are legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us. That's the mantra. That's the motto. That's the thing. So really anyone can be Anon. That's one of the reasons why the Guy Fawkes mask is the thing. And I'm not going to lie. I think that's one of the most brilliant uses of Hollywood propaganda used into an anonymous movement ever. So anyway, it says here that they vowed to take down and expose QAnon, saying the hacking collective Anonymous is pledging to expose the people behind the QAnon conspiracy theory. The anarchist hacking group slammed the QAnon conspiracy as potentially dangerous and driven by a brainless political agenda in a video posted on Sunday to what is widely considered the most reliable anonymous Twitter account. Well, okay, if it's like Your Anon News or a couple of those guys, then I could see that being probably the most credible. But I do want to quickly point out, though, that I have seen Anon on the dark web, and I've gone and looked at some of the stuff there, and I've seen some stuff that is not accurate, that is not truthful information that's being shared around. So again, as always, this must be taken with a huge grain of salt. But just like QAnon, as I'm sorry, Tom Hanks the pedophile. Like, I would love there to be any evidence whatsoever of that. But at this point, there's nothing. Now it says here that we will not sit idly by while you take advantage of the misinformed and poorly educated, the group said in a video, which was posted with the hashtags OPQ and OPQAnon. The video depicts various figures with anonymous masks acting out certain aspects of the QAnon conspiracy against a constant backdrop of the letter Q. The video claims that Anonymous knew who was responsible for Q and thought it was funny at first. However, the group now believes that the conspiracy theory has gone too far, saying someone is going to get hurt. So we have to put our foot down and start some shit with you all. See, that's the thing. The running rumor has been that QAnon is literally some douchebag, just some guy running a prank, running an OP, running an op, and ultimately, like, they say they know who he is. Who knows if they know who he is? I literally have no idea if they know who he is or not. But they are sitting there and they're just like, yeah, this is a problem. Like, this is now a problem, because now when you've got the normies, when you've got this situation going out to the normies, the last thing that Anon wants are the normies coming in. Okay, the last thing anybody wants it to be on a Chan board is it to be summer. And you guys know what I'm talking about. When it's summer, oh, it just gets so much worse. It just gets so much worse with all the kids that are learning about it, going there and trying to be edgy. We all know what it's like. Summertime sucks on a Chan board. You know it. I know it. They know it. But they're going after QAnon still. And again, because of how stupid this is, I don't mind this actually being a thing. Now, QAnon shifted into the spotlight after numerous attendees at President Trump's rally in Florida. I'm sorry, I said Ohio, it was Florida. Last week held Q-shaped cutouts and posters alluding to the conspiracy theory. Now, okay, I know that they weren't joking. I hope that they weren't. I hope that they were joking, but I don't think that they were joking. Now, just imagine for a hot minute, what if this, I mean, a brilliant play right now to discredit all of this would be for somebody on the left, George Soros, to fund an operation, to fund an OP of their own, where they send actual people out there, actual paid protesters, you know, like the ones that actually never got paid to be protesters, which is why I also bring up Soros, to go out there with Q cutouts and QAnon t-shirts and just publicize the shit out of it. That would be funny to me. That would be really funny, because then it all of a sudden would be everywhere. And the actual people on 8chan who believe that this shit's legit would lose their mind because they wouldn't know which way is up and which way is down. And we've seen this kind of bird dogging done before. We saw this happen during the presidential election. At least if you paid attention to any of the Project Veritas stuff and what was happening with some people in the DNC, which is not a tactic that I endorsed, but in this case, I think it would be funny. I don't endorse doing it because it could get somebody hurt. But at the same time, it would also be pretty hysterical to me. Now, it says here, the wide-ranging and vague QAnon touches on a number of popular conspiracy theories. Democrats and prominent Hollywood figures are orchestrating underground pedophile rings. Special counsel Robert Mueller's probe is a front for investigating the 2016 presidential nominee Hillary Clinton and former President Barack Obama for their tie to said rings. And hundreds of sealed indictments may have already been handed down in the Clinton case. The theory was started by a person on the message board 4chan last year, claiming to be a high-ranking security official in the Trump administration. The individual or individuals going by the identity of Q has continued to fan the theory on online platforms. So yeah, basically someone went to poll. All right. You ever go to poll in the middle of the night and just read some of the bullshit that's on there? I will frequently go to poll in the middle of the night and read what BS is on there because it's funny. It's really funny. I'll do a live stream, and then afterward I'm hanging out in the Discord talking to people, and then I jump onto 4chan and just start reading off what's on 4chan, and it's pretty goddamn hysterical because it's so ludicrously ridiculous. Now, don't get me wrong. There have been times over the years where 4chan got it right. Okay, so that is what's going to throw a bit of a wrench in this whole situation one way or the other. There have been times in the past where 4chan has had a theory or someone has come out and said something that has been proven right. So that does kind of make it go back to this point of saying like, well, shit, if they've been right before, are they right here? I don't know. I'm going to argue. My gut tells me no. My gut tells me this is ridiculous. My gut tells me this whole thing is stupid. But again, another part of me who just kind of likes that whole Illuminati theory about shit is going like, well, if there is something there, provide me with evidence and I'll reconsider my approach. It's the same way I approached Pizzagate. I laughed in its face. I still laugh in its face. No one has been able to present any evidence whatsoever that there was in fact an underground child sex dungeon in, Comet Ping Pong Pizzeria at all. And yet that is still very much a pushed narrative in certain circles like QAnon here. Now, it finishes up here by saying a number of conservative figures have pushed back against the conspiracy theory on Twitter in recent days, including Michael Flynn Jr., the son of former White House security advisor Michael Flynn and the former White House press secretary Sean Spicer. Oh, okay. Well, here's the thing with Michael Flynn Jr. Michael Flynn Jr. shared Pizzagate theories. He shared Pizzagate theories. That actually happened, right? He legitimately shared Pizzagate theories on Twitter. And that was one of the things that like got him kind of really, really, really made fun of. So if he's out there going like, come on guys, QAnon is not real. I mean, like Pizzagate was like totally real, but this is like not real. I kind of take that as like, okay, man, they got to you. Just admit that they got to you. But who knows? This whole thing is stupid. But in a non-civil war, in regards to this is always fascinating because we've seen it on pushback against Scientology. We've seen it on pushback in other areas, like anonymous people at Anon in Canada that have been able to track down actual pedophiles, people who were actually committing crimes. help bring them to justice. You know, there's been videos of animals being injured in brutal, violent ways, and 4chan has tracked that person down and alerted law enforcement. So there has been time when Anon has done good in this world. And there's also time when they've done really stupid things in this world. And then, of course, that gets like completely blown out of proportion, you know, and then it's like someone has to go and get a caller ID thing, and then buying a dog, and then vans explode. It's a hot mess in that world. But that being said, my personal opinion on it is this: QAnon is bullshit. All right. It's just someone having a laugh. It's literally somebody pushing a narrative. We know that when it comes to conservatives and when it comes to the concept of someone being a pedophile, they believe it. They truly, honestly believe it 9 times out of 10, without question, without evidence. And sorry, I want to retract that. Not every conservative, but you know the ones I'm talking about. The ones who believe people like Mike Cernovich are telling the God's honest truth here, that they're speaking in absolute truth. The people that believe that nonsense, but decry everything else as fake news. It's just, those are the people I'm talking about, and they're growing in numbers, and they're going to these events with cutouts of Qs, wearing QAnon shirts. And when crazy shit from the internet starts eking its way into real life, there's a bit of a problem there. And there's a bit of a problem there. And at least in this particular case, you've got 4chan. That's they got the Anon, true Anon, I guess, that's going to come out and fight back against it. And once again, there are silent heroes in the dark.